Hello again. This is part 8. Part 8 is going to be finishing part 7. Part 7, I'll talk about the boys camp, and I also talked about the military leadership school. I'm going to finish the boys camp now, and this is what I like to call the mystery in the breakfast, because I had to make breakfast for these kids. I mean, these kids would come over, and their parents had a lot of money because I guess it wasn't cheap to send them there. And then when we were taking camping, we'd pitch tents and stuff. And in the morning, I'd cook them breakfast. You know, we had a cabin, but sometimes we'd leave the cabin and go out to the wilderness. So anyway, we went out in the wilderness, pitched the tents. Morning, I made breakfast, make a campfire, get a pan. I got powdered eggs and water, and mix them together, and I'm stirring them up. And a drop of water or something hit. And I thought, wow, is it raining? So I looked up, and there were blue skies. There were just blue skies. And I was like, well, looks like it'll be okay. So I'm stirring the eggs again, and another drop hit. And I'm going, wow, what was that? And I look up again, and I'm thinking maybe I'm by a tree, and there's branches, and it's early in the morning. It might be some dew coming down, right? And there's no trees. So I'm like, wow, okay. So I'm stirring the eggs some more, and another drop hits, and I'm like, whoa, what is it now? And I'm like going like this. Am I sweating? What's going on? So I'm like, I really want to know what the hell's going on now. You know, really want to know what the hell's going on, because something's falling in there. So I'm stirring the eggs now, and I'm looking really close. Now, early in the morning, it was pretty nippy, kind of cool. And all of a sudden, another drop hit as I'm stirring the eggs. And that's when I noticed that what was falling in there was, my nose was running. And it was dripping in the eggs, and I was stirring it in there in the eggs, and I went, oh shit. And I went, well, they won't notice. Just pulled away, stirred them up, fed them to the kids. They thought it was okay. What can you do, you know? I wasn't going to throw them away. We didn't have that much stuff. That was a crazy ass place, let me tell you. Something I didn't tell you before was the first day we got there, the very first day, they gave us this cabin, they gave us these kids, and after we put the kids to bed, told them to go to bed, I heard a knocking at my door, and this guy was there, one of the counselors. That's what we were, counselors. And he looked at me and said, come with me. And I went, oh man, they got some sort of initiation, you know. I go, well, let's see what goes on. So I followed him, and we went to where the showers were at, which is a really big area where the showers are at. And when I walked in there was a bunch of people. There were, all the counselors were there, right? And I looked, and they were rolling joints and smoking and getting high. I was like, whoa. I was like, you know, this is back in the early 70s where pot was starting to get pretty popular. In fact, everybody thought back then that it was going to become legal. And I know it's shocking. You would never guess it. But when I was young, I did smoke some pot. So anyway, we smoked some with those guys that night. And I think that was the only night we smoked, was that one night. Because we didn't have any. So I guess I decided to share that one time, and then after that, I don't remember ever smoking with them again. But we weren't there very long. We were only there for about, I think, a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. Because what happened was they had a fire hazard because it hadn't rained for such a long time, and they were worried about a forest fire, so they had to close the camp down. But we were there for almost 2 weeks, and it was pretty much fun. I had another instance with the kids when I first got the kids, because the kids are going to push. They're going to try to see what they can get away with, you know. So I put them to bed, and I'm laying there, and one of the kids gets this flashlight and flashes me in the face. You know, you're talking about 10-year-old. And I told him, hey, put that thing out. So he puts it out. I'm starting to go back to sleep, and boom, he flashes me with the flashlight again. And I look at him, and I go, I said, put that out. He says, I said, I'm not telling you again. And he puts it out. He waits a few minutes, flashes me with the flashlight again. I said, okay. So I get up and I grab him, pull him out of the bed. I go by the sink. We got a sink there, and I grab this bar of soap and I pulled him outside and I crammed the soap down his throat and his mouth, and he's kicking and screaming, and I hold it in there for a little while, you know, and I let go and he spits it out. He's like, he got like the dry heaves and stuff, and I go, you gonna go to sleep now? Quit messing around? He goes, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. Okay, get your ass in there. Quit fucking around. So he went in there, and the rest of the time none of the kids ever messed with me again. I mean, you have to show them who's the boss, you know. But I treated the kids really good after that, because it's the same kids I told that scary story I mentioned earlier. The one thing I did notice, because I was there 2 weeks, because the first week I had the rich kids, right? And the second week, I had another batch of kids, and there were some Mexican American kids. And the difference between the two is like day and night. And I don't think it was because they were white and they were Mexican American. I think the difference was the first batch were kind of privileged. You know, their parents had a lot of money and stuff, and I guess they took care of them and everything. And the other ones, the church paid for them. You know, they were kind of like me when I was growing up. They were kids from the street, and the difference was amazing. Like for example, when we went camping with the kids that parents paid for, they didn't know how to pitch a tent. They didn't even want to try to pitch a tent. I had to help every one of them. Every one of them I had to help pitch a tent, because they couldn't pitch their own tent. On the other hand, these other guys, the poor kids, you gave them the tent and they were really excited. They didn't want to do it themselves. And they went out there, and I don't think I helped a single one of them. I just went and made sure they put them up together, and they all put them up together really good. It was a huge difference. And the attitudes were way different too. We also played basketball. And when I had the poor kids, you know, we played against some of the rich kids, and they gave them a severe whipping in basketball. I mean, the difference between the two, I don't know what the rich kids did for fun, but basketball was not it. Because I'm talking, it was a massacre from hell. You know, we played to 50 points, and I think the score was 50-4 or some ridiculous amount. But that was insane. But I was there for, like I said, 2 weeks, and then they closed it down. Then me and my friend hitchhiked back to El Paso. We went from Cloudcroft back to El Paso, and it was about a little over 100 miles that we hitchhiked. So it was a pretty good adventure, I must say. And when we got to El Paso, we decided to go toward Monahans. We lived in El Paso, had to go to Monahans and Pecos, and we were just gonna hitchhike, you know, just get odd jobs for a while. And I'll talk some more about our hitchhiking adventures later, but for now, this is going to be it on this particular subject. Thanks for watching. It's the end of the first quarter. Second quarter, I'll do maybe today, maybe tomorrow, about being in the military, and finish up the story about the leadership school. Catch you later. Have a good one. Hello again. Time for the second quarter of episode number 8. Episode number 7, I talked about being in leadership school, and pretty much how I screwed up and didn't get an undergraduate, but I did get Academic Achievement Award, which is something, okay? Anyway, we had the graduation ceremonies. It was in the NCO club, and everybody was there. Supervisor was there, and all the people that graduated were there. It was just a great old time. Everybody's drinking, dancing, having a good time. And as the night progressed, Mary, my wife, of course, was there. And she looked at me. She was tired. She said, I want to go home. I'm going to go home. Have one of your friends take you home. That way, sounds good to me. So she left. I stayed there, partied all night long. I was drinking double tequila sunrises too. I remember, you know, I was drinking double tequila sunrise. I don't remember how many I drank. I drank a bunch of them, I don't remember going home at all. Don't remember going home. I just remember waking up in the morning in bed, and Mary wasn't with me, which was kind of odd. You know, I was like, what the hell? How come she's not here? So I get up and start walking down the hallway. And down the hallway, the living room, and there's the couch. And Mary's asleep in the couch. So as I'm walking and looking at her, asleep in the couch, she kind of wakes up and looks at me. And all of a sudden, when she wakes up and looks at me, everything's coming in her mouth. These motherfucker, cocksucker, blah, 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 blah. All these cuss words is just like, she's like super pissed at me. Super pissed. And I have zero clue why she's angry. Zero clue why she's angry, you know. I'm like, what the hell? And I'm thinking, what did I do last night? I'm like, geez, I must have done something horrible last night. So she's going nuts. So finally I calm her down a little bit and start talking to her and find out, you know, what did I do that you're so angry? And what turns out happened is that I got home and I went to the bedroom and she was laying in bed. And I went up to her, right? And she woke up when I walked in, and I walked right up to her, and I bent over, you know, and she looked at me and she puckered up, so she figured because I walked up to her and I bent over that I was going to kiss her. But instead of kissing her, I puked right in her face, right? I mean, I don't remember doing it, but she says that's what I did. I bent over and I puked in her face, and she screamed and hollered, and she went nuts, and she grabbed me and threw me on the bed, started pummeling me, cussing me out, and I was so drunk, I don't remember none of it, and she got so mad at me, she just left and went to bed on the couch, and she's telling me all this stuff, and I go, really? She goes, yes, you asshole, you did all this, and I'm like, whoa, I'm sorry, you know, and I look down, and I got hair on my chest, right? And I look, and I still got chunks of puke and stuff on my chest, and I was like going like, oh shit, I guess I did do it, you know. So I finally calmed her down and relaxed her and shit, and everything became okay, I guess, because we're still married after all these years. But that was a pretty stupid, shitty thing to do, but I didn't do it on purpose, okay? I didn't do it on purpose. And to this day, I don't remember it happening. For all I know, she made it up just to make me look bad. But I doubt it, because I know me. I probably did it. But, oh well. That's, like I say, all the other times, it's part of life. Sometimes you do stupid shit. Anyway, that's the end of that particular little story. I'm going to stop now, and in a minute, I'm going to talk about life and death. Getting to the third quarter, and let's see, maybe this got a story that's not so gross. Talk to you in a minute. Hello again. Time for the third quarter of my 8th episode. I have to start out by apologizing because the second quarter, when I did that video, the camera was too close, so my face was like huge. I can see why actors don't like high definition, because it shows all the horrible little things in their faces that sucks. I mean, if you look closer, you probably see hair in my nose. So I put the horror into horrible on that video, but what can I do? Anyway, it's the third quarter. The third quarter is always about death and life. The first part being death. And I want to talk about a rock. And this rock is, got a little note here because it's kind of hard to pronounce. It's called, where is it? Lapis lazuli. Lapis lazuli. And it's a rock. And you're probably wondering, okay, we're talking about what to do after you're dead. Why in the world am I talking about a rock? And the thing is, it's a special kind of rock. How's it going, Lee? It's a special rock. There's a documentary. You can go on YouTube and just Google the history of art in 3 colors. And there's 3 episodes. And the first episode is on the color gold. And the second episode is the color white. And the third episode is the color blue. Now, I watch these episodes because I like art. I mean, in high school, my senior year, I won the art award for the class, which, be honest with you, I didn't think I deserved it, because I had friends that could draw circles around me, and I thought they should have got it. And I think the reason I got it is because my art was kind of unique. It was different from everybody else's, so I think that's why I got it. Because it wasn't that I was a better drawer. I just had better ideas. But anyway, that's why I like those shows. And anyway, those 3 episodes are pretty cool. And like I said, all you gotta do is Google a history of art in 3 colors, and you can see these episodes. And the one I'm talking about is blue. And I had no idea that blue was such a, I don't know how to put it, like magical color. I don't know what to say about it, how to describe it. But for example, here's a, I don't know if you can see it, but here's a blue rock, kind of blue, light blue. And here's another blue rock, it's kind of dark blue. And back throughout the ages, when they did paintings, they would paint, and that's kind of the blues they had. I mean, I don't know if you could tell, but it was kind of dull blue, kind of dark blue. They didn't have any really good-looking blues, kind of like this one. This is like, I guess you call like royal blue, that really bright blue, the kind of like the sky. They didn't have that. And then what happened was that in Afghanistan, they found this rock, and the rock was that lapis lazuli rock, and this rock was blue. And they used to trade with Europe all the time, and they took this rock over there to these guys. And I've talked to people about this episode, and they kind of get surprised, because nowadays, well, you can get blue anywhere. You know, you go to a paint store, it's got all kinds of shades of blue and everything. But you have to remember, back then, they didn't have this. They didn't have this at all. You know, they only had what they could find, and they couldn't find anything that was actually blue. I mean, they would look at the sky, and the sky was blue. They would look at the oceans, and the oceans was blue. But when they would try to paint the sky or the oceans, they didn't have a color that would match them. I mean, all the colors were really dull or really dark. And all of a sudden, these guys showed up with this rock that was blue. I mean, it was like everybody went nuts. And this was during the Middle Ages. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because me being sort of your guide after you die to what you want to do, personally, I would like to do this. And by this, I mean, I would like to go to that time when whatever guy it was showed up in Europe in the Middle Ages with this blue rock and said, check this out. And everybody that worked on paintings and stuff went, wow! It's like amazing. In fact, this blue rock was worth more than gold. You know, they could sell that rock by weight. By weight, it was worth more than gold. It was, to me, I would love to go there and just see the expression on their faces, and just see how they start to use it, how to start breaking it out, how to start making the paint, the pigment, to start doing the paintings. Now, when you see the video, they'll tell you all kinds of stuff about what happened, and I highly recommend the videos. And one of the examples they show is that, and if you remember, you've seen tons and tons of pictures, or I should say paintings, from that era of the Virgin Mary, and they always use blue as their clothing. If you stop and think about it. And the reason they did that, because this thing was so rare, they decided the only thing they could use, it could only have a lot of it, but they made paintings of the Virgin Mary, they would put her in blue. because they figured she was the only one that was worth it, you know. So for the longest time, that's the only thing they would use it for. Then they started getting a little bit more of it and started spreading out a little bit more, but it was still very rare and got to the point where only royalty could have it. I guess maybe, possibly, that's why they call it royal blue. I don't know, I'm guessing. But anyway, I think that's just what I do, you know. But the next part of this, because I'm kind of done with that, the dead part, okay? Now we shed a little light on the subject, like the one that just showed up over there. A new subject. Because I like to talk about death, and I also like to talk about life. And I decided the life portion, I was going to get family members to tell jokes. And I've got three today. I've got two of them are from my wife's side, Mary's side, Cody and Maria, like the song, you know. And Maria is a daughter of Juan and Linda, you know, and Juan is the son of Beba, her real name is Jessie. This is my wife's sister, and the other one, Cody, she's also grandson of Beba, and her parents is Elisa and Alfred. Anyway, I got those two, and the only reason I got those two, and they're fairly young, they're like early 20s. They graduated about a year or two ago, something like that. And the only reason I got them, I was going to use adults and stuff, but I was a family get-together, and they were there, and they begged me. In fact, I thought Cody was going to cry if I didn't let him do it, so I said, okay, I'll let you guys do it. Since you're so insistent on doing this, I'll let you guys do it. And they'll be the first two. First we'll have Maria, and then we'll have Cody. And then the third one's going to be Juju, one of my nieces. She's my sister's daughter, my sister Elizabeth. She did one of the jokes in one of the other episodes, and she did a little joke too. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop talking and show you the three videos. Okay? Brace yourself, because they're out there. They're pretty awesome. Definitely in the spot now. Yeah. Do a knock-knock joke. You got to do it.
Make sure you stay a little first. I get this job.
Okay.
I have a joke.
Okay, you say knock-knock.
Knock-knock.
Who's there?
I don't know.
Tarzan. Tarzan who? Tarzan Stripes Forever.
Wait, what?
Tarzan Stripes Forever.
Tarzan Stripes Forever.
Whoa, what an awesome joke! Just tell a joke, any joke. If it sucks, it's even better. The worse it is, the better it is. A knock-knock joke.
What do you call cows with no legs?
What do you call cows with no legs?
I don't know. What do you call a cow with no legs?
Ground beef.
Ground beef.
Ground beef. Oh, hilarious! I'm dying. Huh? Come on. Tell me the joke.
What do you call when you come across a pig and a dinosaur?
What do you call it?
Jurassic Park.
Oh, making me hungry. Giant pork steaks. Okay. I don't know which one's my favorite. All three of them are great. They did a great job. I gotta thank all three of them for being such great sports. This concludes my third quarter of the 8th episode of life and death. Death being first and life is being now. All these people are alive and they're doing great and they're wonderful people. Next I'm going to do my fourth quarter for episode 8. Fourth quarter is always I tell a stupid joke. So brace yourself. See you in a minute. Here we go again. Time for the fourth quarter, episode 8. This is when I tell a joke. World renowned for being stupid. So today's joke is going to be about this guy that bought a TV system. You know how TV systems are nowadays? They're really complicated and involved. And this guy spent a ton of money. He's got an antenna up on top of the roof that can hook up to all these different satellites. And inside his house, he's got this remote control where he can adjust the antenna and hook up to any antenna out there, the satellites, I should say. And he can sit there and hit all these prepositions. He's all set in his little box, and he's got this 70-inch TV set, and he's got this beautiful, awesome picture, and he can push these buttons, and he can get different satellites. It's got this little knob, and he can tweak it up, make it look really, really good, you know. And he spent the whole day setting it all up, and sits down in his chair, and it starts pushing buttons, and he's looking at this thing, and it is awesome. He's just loving it. It's like, I can't believe how great this is. And all of a sudden the TV goes, it's all messed up, you know. This thing's all messed up. And he's like, what the hell? And he's pushing buttons, trying different ones, and nothing's happening. He's trying to tweak it, nothing's happening. And he's going, I wonder what happened. So maybe I messed up on my antenna. Maybe I didn't hook it up right. Maybe it fell over. So he decides to go outside and looks on top of the roof where he's got his antenna at, right? And he looks up there and he goes, holy shit, it's a gorilla up there. And there is. This is a huge gorilla. He's got his antenna and he's going like this. He's just beating the crap out of the antenna. He's like, wow. He goes, what am I going to do now? So he goes inside the house and he goes, wow. He Googles gorilla removal service. He finds this guy named Gary. And he's got a company. And the title of the company is Gary's Gorilla Removal Service. So he calls them up and said, hey, I got a gorilla on my roof, can you remove it? And the guy says, hell yeah, that's my job. I'm Gary the Gorilla Remover. Gary's Gorilla Removal Service. I'll be right over. Just give me your address. So he gives him the address. The guy shows up and he's waiting for him. The gorilla's still up there going, and a big old van pulls up. One of those big old tall ones. It says Gary's Gorilla Removal Service on the side. And he runs up to the guy and the guy steps out. Says, I'm here to get the gorilla down. And the guy says, oh, excellent, excellent. And the guy goes back to the truck, right, and opens up these doors, and this big ass dog, one of those black with rust color faces. What do you call those things? Rottweilers. But this is just not a normal Rottweiler. This is a monster-sized Rottweiler. It's about this big, you know. It's about the size of a pony, and it's huge, and it's monstrous. And he jumps out of the back of this van and starts running around the house, and this dog is pissed. He is pissed. He's like, just running around, and the guy's like, holy shit, what the hell's going on? These guys go back to the van, gets this ladder, and puts this ladder up against the house, goes back to the van, gets this baseball bat, reaches in there, pulls out this 12-gauge shotgun, and goes up to the guy that owns the house, gives him the shotgun, and says, this is what I'm going to do. The guy says, what? I'm going to go up this ladder, okay? I'm going to go up this ladder. When I get up there, I'm going to use this baseball bat. I'm going to smack the gorilla on the head. When I smack the gorilla on the head, he's going to fall down, hit the ground. That Rottweiler's trained to grab whatever comes down by the balls and haul him off into the van. When he does that, you slam the door shut, okay? And the guy says, okay. So the guy says, okay, I'm doing it now. So he starts going up the ladder with his baseball bat. And the guy's standing there with his shotgun, and he goes, hey, what about the shotgun? And the guy stops halfway up the ladder and says, shit. He goes back down, looks at the guy, he says, hey, I almost forgot the most important part, okay? Sometimes I go up there with a baseball bat, and the gorilla gets the best of me. He knocks me the hell off the roof, and I'll fall down. If he does that, you shoot the goddamn dog, okay? Anyway, that's the joke. Hope you enjoyed it. Time to call it quits, maybe a little overtime. See you in a few. Okay, time for a little overtime. A couple of things I want to bring up. One of them is the story I told about my old lady. She beat me up because I puked in her face. I showed her the video, and she laughed. She got a kick out of it. And she said to me, You messed up though. You forgot to tell them how you felt the next day. I was like, what? Don't you remember? You said you hurt all over. She said, cause I beat you pretty good all over the place. And I went, yeah, I don't remember that, but now that you mentioned it, I didn't remember that, but now you mentioned it, I remember now that I was sore everywhere because you hit me every part of my body that you could. In fact, I think you said you hit me till you got so tired you couldn't hit me anymore. And I was so plowed that I just lay there like a punching bag. So, anyway, that's what happens when you drink too much. You got to watch your alcohol, that's for sure. Another little thing I want to talk about is one of the other ones episodes I showed a trick, and I want to show another trick real quick. This is the first trick I learned. It was taught to me by my dad when I was that's probably about 8 years old, maybe younger. But here it goes. See this? Awesome. All it is, you go like this, you go like that, put your thumb here, put your finger here. Oh, just do it. Next episode, I messed up, and last trick I showed, I didn't show how to do it. I don't have coasters right now. Next episode I'll have those coasters, and I'll show you how to do that trick. Last thing I'm going to do now is tell a quick joke, you know. I didn't even think about which joke I was going to tell either. But I'm going to tell some kind of short, you know. Why short and stupid? This is from a book when I was a little kid, probably about 7. And it was stupid then and it's stupid now. But I'll say it anyway. What's big, red, and eats rocks? The answer is a big red rock eater. And it was in a book of jokes for kids. And I was like, I never forgot that joke. It's so stupid. But anyway, we'll talk to you later. Have a great one.